Hey, I'm here with Kirk Nelson to talk about his classes at the upcoming Photoshop Virtual Summit 4. Hey, Kirk, thanks for
Hey, Dave.
hopping on
Thanks
a
for having me
chat.
on here. It's always a
Sure, you
pleasure.
bet.
These are always fun. I look forward to these every year or twice a year, however often we're doing it. It's one of the highlights of my production workflows is being involved in these
Awesome.
summits.
Great. So, one of the reasons that we love having you as an instructor is that, when I put out a call to say, okay, submit your class ideas, I never have to worry about you coming up with creative ideas because yours are definitely right up there in terms of taking Photoshop and down a very creative path. And one of the classes you're doing is talking about creating energy light flows. Is that how you word
Close
it?
enough, yeah. Energy light streams. Just glowing light stream effects that is really a lot of fun to play with. They're super easy to create and to use. If past summit attendees probably recognize the fact that I really enjoy doing practical effects for digital art. I kind of have a bit of a background in that back in film school and just dealing and learning with some of the ways of doing things practically and not always having to do everything with the computer. So, in the past we've done the fireballs, we've done water splashes, and at this summit we get to wave light sticks around and capture all those with a slow shutter and create some really, really cool light stream effects. I show exactly how to do it. I show the best setups for it. It's surprisingly easy to get some really good effects with that. And I even include for the VIP members all the overlays that I created for this course while I was just playing around in the studio. And I think there's 40 something of them there. Then they're
Mhm.
all really good, high quality, and they're a lot of fun to use.
And one of the beauties, of course, of overlays is once you know the how easy it is to incorporate it in your photograph, it's not like you have to do any significant amount of masking or blending
Right.
to get it to look the way you want.
Right. Just the power of those blend modes. You just, set it to screen or linear dodge or whatever one that works best for you. And
Mhm.
boom, it's just there. And I also love the fact that because they're kind of nebulous and just sort of light stream niche, you can abuse those with the warp tool and stuff. And
Sure.
you don't have to worry much about pixelation or distortion and everything because they're already
Right.
kind of blurry and distorted. And so
Right.
you can just twist them and move them around and do whatever you want with them. And who cares? It looks great.
Yeah, and then like you said, when you based on the blend mode, it's gonna kinda blend in with the background anyway, so,
Yeah, you start
it's not
stacking those up, get multiple ones on them, different colors and different effects. It's so much
nice.
fun.
Yeah, and I love the fact that, that in all the ones you sessions you've done, it wasn't like, well, you have to have, this high-end equipment or gear. It's just like, you know, here's how here, do it in your backyard with a
Absolutely.
backdrop
Yeah.
hanging there or whatever, and
Yeah. Yeah,
I
sort
think
of the
that's part of what
MacGyver
makes
of doing stuff in that I've always
it
wanted to my classes to be so accessible that people can just do these things in a weekend type project. That's always been kind of my goal. Is like, okay, what do you want to do this weekend? I don't know. Let's create some cool digital effects for Photoshop. And like, well, what do we have? What do we need? It's probably already in the garage. I mean,
Mhm.
those little glow sticks. I don't have any right. Oh, I do. Yeah, these things. Right,
Mm.
right. I literally picked these up at the dollar store. I spent like $5 on the gear
Nice.
for this class. It's
That's
that
awesome.
easy and so good.
That's great. And I've always loved anything where you can combine, like, we do so many things digitally that if you can do something that you're involved with physically,
Yep.
whether it's I was talking with Kara Plichnish about this, like,
Mm,
I went through this phase where I thought it'd be cool to take big sheets of paper and a kind of a dry paintbrush and paint these shapes and then either scan or photograph them in and use them as
sure.
edge effects or whatever, just because I mean, yeah, I could probably do a search and find them, someone selling
Oh, that's no fun.
collections of, but, it's much more fun
It is a lot more fun.
to
Anything that
actually
gets
smell
us,
the paint
away
and
from
do
our
something.
desk and back behind our cameras and doing something
Yeah.
interesting and creative like that, that's a win in my book.
Yeah, for sure. Now, the other class you're doing is also creative in its own sense because we see people talk about, well, there's new filters in Photoshop, and they show examples of how you can do things that are they're interesting. But I'd say you took it up a notch. So tell us about your other class
So,
with
yeah, that is the, kind of cartoon caricatures. So, there's a lot of the, facial effects that can be done with both the new neural filters and even Liquify has kinda quietly been maturing itself and its ability to detect faces, and you can make adjustments to facial features just within Liquify. I abuse that in this class. Basically, we use that to completely exaggerate features out and just have a lot of fun with it too. I will say this class does have potential for being a little cruel to people, so I want to be careful with what I say and show there, and I'm very clear with that in the class. The caricature I made, I sent out to the model I used first, and she loved it. She's like, "Oh yeah, that's great. I love it. Feel free to use that. That's fine." Um, I had a lot of fun with it too, but it's sort of the whole art of caricature is exaggeration for comedic effect. So
Right.
it's not trying to be cruel. It's just trying to bring a little bit of joy. And you can't really write like an action for it because every caricature is a little bit different. Every face is going to be a little bit unique, and so you kind of have to know, what is it that you want to exaggerate? What is it that you're not poking fun at it, but you're enhancing? And so, and I work with that in the class too. It's not just
Hmm.
do this, 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 and this. It's like, well,
Right.
what do we want to do here, and why?
Yeah.
And that's what
And
helps make a better caricature, honestly.
yeah, and I think that I've talked about this with other instructors about how we don't want to just give people, a recipe that says do these 5 things to get this result, but to understand what's going on and therefore help make decisions when you're looking at something of what would look best in this particular case.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's just
Awesome.
learning the intent behind it, not just how to use the
Right.
tool. So we're training artists, not tool operators.
Exactly. That's a great way to say it. I've always said that we don't want to just get good at following instructions. We want to
Right.
understand what's happening so we can be creative on our own right.
Absolutely. Fully agree.
Awesome. Great. Well, once again, people who've watching all these chats will get tired of me saying every time, "I can't wait to watch your classes," but it's really true. That's one of the beauties of being running an event like this is I get to see a sneak peek of
Me too.
everything and be like, "Ooh, that's really cool." So I can't wait to see what people's reactions is. And thanks again for popping on to chat about your upcoming
Absolutely.
classes.
Absolutely. This is so much fun. And I hope that the energy and the excitement for it is infectious because I'm just like, I want to tell everybody this is going to be so much fun. You got to come watch this. You're going to love it. It's great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks again, Kirk.
Sure. Thanks, Dave.